Today I'm gonna make some stew chicken. So the chicken's already in the pot and it is washed and clean. I'll be putting one of those bouillon cubes in there, the chicken flavors. I'll be putting some all-purpose seasoning. Today I'll use the Old Bay season. I will put some basil, onion powder, black pepper, chili powder, and sea salt. Some people put hot sauce in to replace this, but I have the chili powder, so I'll use that. It's probably better to use the real onions, but I'm just lazy and I have the powder, so I'm using the powder. So I will put all these ingredients in, then I will mix it in. And some people, for example, my mom, when she makes stew chicken, she seasons the chicken overnight, but I don't really have much time, so I'm just gonna season the chicken now and maybe let it rest for 30 minutes or so before starting the cooking process. And once all that is done, as you'll see later on, I will then put the browning in, which gives it that good flavor. And that'll be the last thing I'll add once it's ready to cook on the stove. As far as the measurement goes, sometimes it depends on the amount of chicken that I have. I've just been doing it so much that I can just eye it a little bit. So there's the all-purpose seasoning, then the black pepper, and now the onion powder, the basil, the chili powder. Depending on how hot you want it, of course, you can put a bit more. And then the sea salt. And finally, the bouillon cube. Just crush it up. And then lastly, you just mix it all together. So once I mix it, I will just let it sit for a little bit. And then once I feel like it's seasoned enough or it's sat enough, then I'll just put some water in there and I will add the browning sauce. And then I will just make it simmer for maybe an hour, hour and a half. I like my my stew chicken like really well cooked to the point where it just falls off the bone. Some people don't like that, but I guess it depends to what you like, the person's likes, I guess. But you'll see how it looks like in the end. So I actually did end up leaving this overnight. Typically I don't do this, but something came up and it's actually the better way to go. So now I'm just gonna add a little bit of browning sauce in here. Not too much because it's very strong. And then I'm gonna fill it up with maybe halfway of water. Then I'm just gonna cook this on medium for an hour or so. I don't want to fill it up all the way because then it's gonna be too watery and gonna take a lot of the seasoning and flavors away from it. So right now it's 9:23. I think an hour, so hour and a half. Me typically I like when the meat's like almost falling off the bones. Some people don't prefer that, but that's what I prefer. So I cook it a bit longer than usual. So this is just 1 hour into cooking right now. It's looking good and smelling even better. This has been cooking for an hour and 15 minutes or so. The chicken was already cooked after an hour, but like I said, I like it well done. I don't want it falling off the bones. So I will just turn it off and just let it sit for a few minutes and I'll show you the end product.